Cuba, the untold stories behind the Caribbean paradise. Greetings, fellow explorers. Welcome back to Around the World, where we uncover the mysteries that lie beneath the surface of our planet's most fascinating destinations. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on Cuba, a nation that captivates millions with its pristine coastlines, pulsating rhythms, and revolutionary history. But what happens when the music fades and the tourist cameras stop clicking? What realities do 11 million Cubans navigate daily while the world admires their island paradise from afar? Prepare yourself for an eye-opening journey through 8 compelling aspects of Cuban life that rarely make it into travel brochures. From ancient traditions that carry unexpected burdens to modern struggles that challenge everything you thought you knew about this Caribbean gem. Are you ready to discover the Cuba that exists beyond the postcards? Let's dive deep. And picture this, a 15-year-old girl, radiant in an elaborate gown that costs more than her family's annual income, gliding through Havana's cobblestone streets in a horse-drawn carriage. This isn't a fairy tale, it's quinceañera season in Cuba. The quinceañera represents far more than a birthday celebration. It's a sacred rite of passage that transforms a girl into a woman in the eyes of Cuban society. Families view this ceremony with the same reverence as a wedding, often mortgaging their future to create one perfect day. The spectacle is breathtaking. Professional photographers capture every moment. Luxury hotels transform into ballrooms, and entire neighborhoods gather to witness the celebration. But here's the shocking reality. A single quinceañera photo shoot can cost several $1,000s. In a country where the average monthly salary hovers around $150, parents begin saving from the moment their daughters are born, sometimes taking on multiple jobs or selling precious family heirlooms to fund this milestone. The pressure is immense, the financial sacrifice devastating, yet the tradition endures as families choose cultural pride over economic stability. While American teens celebrate Sweet 16 with friends and Japan honors coming of age with Seijin no Hai ceremonies, Cuba's quinceañera culture carries a unique weight, one that can either elevate a family's social status or plunge them into years of debt. As the Caribbean sun sets over Havana's iconic Malecón, another side of Cuba awakens. The city's red light districts don't hide in shadowy alleys. They operate boldly in plain sight, integrated into the tourism landscape in ways that would shock visitors to other destinations. These aren't traditional prostitutes as you might imagine them elsewhere. Many of these women, known locally as gineteras or gold diggers, often present themselves as masseuses or simply friendly locals eager to show tourists around. They may have day jobs, decent living conditions, even college educations, but the lure of earning in hours what might take months in regular employment proves irresistible. The economics are stark. A tourist can pay $30 to $40 for services that represent weeks of wages for most Cubans. In downtown Havana and popular parks, you'll witness scenes that seem surreal. Elderly foreign men arm in arm with women young enough to be their granddaughters, transactions disguised as friendships, survival masked as choice. This isn't just about individual decisions. Entire families depend on this income stream. The money flowing through Havana's night economy has become an essential lifeline for countless households struggling against economic hardship. Behind every bright smile and warm greeting lies a complex story of necessity, dreams deferred, and the harsh mathematics of survival in modern Cuba. Hold a Cuban cigar in your hand and you're touching a masterpiece, the result of over 500 meticulous steps, generations of knowledge and honestly unparalleled craftsmanship. A single Cohiba Bahiki can sell for thousands of dollars, making it more valuable per gram than silver. Yet here's the brutal irony. The artisans who create these luxury symbols often can't afford the very products that have made their island famous worldwide. Master cigar rollers whose skills are revered globally earn wages that barely cover basic necessities while their creations grace the humidors of the world's elite. The legendary Cohiba brand was born in the 1960s when Fidel Castro's bodyguard discovered exceptional cigars being crafted by Eduardo Rivera. Castro immediately assembled Cuba's finest tobacco artisans and established exclusive production facilities. Today, these cigars are sold in over 150 countries, generating enormous revenue for the state. Every year, Havana hosts an extravagant cigar festival, drawing wealthy enthusiasts from 70 nations who spend freely on premium products and luxury experiences. Meanwhile, the Cuban citizens who grow the tobacco, sort the leaves and roll the cigars live under strict rationing systems, unable to enjoy the prosperity their labor creates. The tobacco farms of Pinar del Rio welcome tourists eager to witness the authentic cigar-making process. But behind those welcoming smiles lie stories of economic hardship that contrast sharply with the industry's glamorous international image. Between 2021 and 2022, over 270,000 Cubans, equivalent to 2.5% of the entire population, were apprehended by United States authorities while attempting illegal border crossings. This represents the largest migration wave in Cuban history, occurring during the island's worst economic crisis in decades. The journey is perilous and expensive. Many Cubans fly to Nicaragua, one of the few countries they can enter without visas, then pay human trafficking networks up to $7,000 per person to reach the United States. For perspective, this amount equals nearly 4 years of average Cuban wages. But the exodus creates a painful paradox. While Cubans desperately seek to leave, those who do often face years of bureaucratic nightmares trying to maintain connections with family back home. The Cuban government imposes hefty fees and complex procedures for document renewal, effectively punishing those who chose to emigrate. Families are torn apart across continents. Children grow up never meeting their grandparents. Spouses live separated by politics and economics, not choice. The human cost of Cuba's migration crisis extends far beyond numbers. It represents millions of broken hearts and shattered dreams. Those who remain watch their communities hollow out as neighbors, friends, and family members risk everything for a chance at a different life, leaving behind a society struggling to maintain its identity as its people scatter across the globe. Imagine living in 2024 but being digitally trapped in 1995. For most Cubans, this isn't imagination, it's daily reality. Until 2018, public internet barely existed. Even today, only 1/4 of the population has any internet access, and home connections remain a luxury few can afford. The numbers tell a staggering story. Internet access costs $2 per hour when the average monthly salary ranges from $7 to $30. Smartphones capable of internet connectivity sell in state stores for $200, more than a year's wages for many citizens. Before mobile data became partially available, Cubans developed an underground information network called El Paquete, weekly packages of digital content distributed via USB drives throughout the island. Movies, music, software, and news passed hand to hand like samizdat literature in Soviet times. The United States embargo compounds the problem, preventing tech giants like Apple and Google from operating in Cuba. Cubans can't download Skype or WhatsApp, forcing them to rely on Facebook's basic web version for international communication. Only about 150,000 Cubans out of 11 million can access the internet daily. While the rest of the world live streams, video calls family, and accesses unlimited information, most Cubans remain digitally isolated, their potential stunted by technological barriers that seem almost medieval in today's connected world. Cuba imports 70% of its food and fuel, making it, really vulnerable to global price fluctuations and supply chain disruptions. When COVID-19 devastated the tourism industry, which is, one of Cuba's primary income sources, the economic house of cards collapsed spectacularly. The statistics are honestly devastating. Pork and rice production plummeted by 80% in 2023, while egg production fell by half. Hospitals lack basic supplies like cotton and bandages, resulting in 30% fewer surgeries than in 2019. Nearly 68% of dental treatments became unavailable. Sugar, which was once Cuba's economic backbone, now operates at just 66% of normal production due to crop failures and, aging infrastructure. The transportation system, so vital for moving goods and people across the island, functions at just 35% capacity due to fuel shortages and a lack of replacement parts. Even tourists experience the crisis firsthand. waiting in long lines just to purchase fuel while frequent power outages disrupt their Caribbean vacation. The blackouts aren't just occasional inconveniences, they're daily realities that affect everything from hospitals to schools to, family dinners. This isn't some temporary hardship, it's Cuba's new normal. 5 consecutive years of crisis have exposed fundamental weaknesses in the country's economic model, with honestly no clear path to recovery visible on the horizon. Walk into a Cuban restaurant expecting warm Caribbean hospitality, and you might be well shocked by what you encounter instead. The concept of service with a smile seems to have evaporated in many establishments, replaced by indifference or even outright hostility. This isn't about Cuban culture being naturally unfriendly. Actually, it's quite the opposite. Cubans are typically warm, generous people. The problem lies in systemic issues affecting the service industry. Extremely low wages, poor working conditions, limited resources, and a real lack of incentives for excellence. When restaurant workers earn less in a month than tourists spend on a single meal, when supplies are constantly short, and when there's just no meaningful reward for exceptional service, motivation inevitably suffers. The result is a hospitality industry that quite often fails to be hospitable. Some high-end tourist establishments do maintain professional standards, but these are really just islands of exception in an ocean of indifference. The contrast can be quite jarring for visitors accustomed to competitive service industries where customer satisfaction directly impacts income. Behind every surly waiter or uninterested hotel clerk lies a story of economic frustration and systemic challenges that, honestly, no amount of tourist complaints can fix. The service reflects the broader struggles of a society where traditional incentives have, broken down. Perhaps nothing illustrates Cuba's economic challenges more starkly than the continued existence of rationing systems that began way back in 1962. The Libreta, a 20-page ration booklet, still governs how 3.6 million Cuban households purchase basic necessities. This isn't just some historical curiosity, it's daily reality. Cubans must present ration cards to buy milk, rice, bread, and other essentials at state-controlled prices. Each household receives allocations based on family size, but these allowances often fall short of actual needs. In 2019, due to economic pressures, rationing became so severe that each Cuban could purchase only 1 chicken per month at supermarkets. Meat, soap, eggs, beans, and sausages all require ration cards, creating a complex bureaucracy around the simple act of feeding one's family. Foreigners can't obtain ration cards and must shop at tourist markets where prices reflect international rates, often 10 times higher than rationed goods. This creates a two-tiered economy where citizens and visitors live in parallel realities with vastly different purchasing power. The ration system, which was originally intended as a temporary measure during crisis, has become a permanent feature of Cuban life, a daily reminder of economic limitations that shows no signs of disappearing after more than 6 decades. We've journeyed together through 8 aspects of Cuban life that tourism brochures never mention, from quinceañera ceremonies that bankrupt families to economic crises that force mass migration, from digital isolation to persistent rationing. These realities paint a picture far more complex than the Caribbean paradise image most people hold. This isn't about criticizing Cuba or its people, who honestly show remarkable resilience in facing these challenges every day. Instead, it's about understanding the full human story behind one of the world's most fascinating and complex societies. Cuba remains a land of incredible beauty, rich culture, and indomitable spirit, but it's also a place where ordinary people navigate extraordinary challenges with a courage that, frankly, deserves recognition and respect. What aspects of Cuban life surprised you most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspectives help us all understand our world more deeply. Thank you for joining Around the World on this revealing journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more eye-opening explorations of the stories that shape our planet. Until our next adventure, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep seeking the truth behind the headlines. See you in the next episode.